Get ready for the next battle, ladies and gentlemen, Zaydems and everyone else in between. My name's SPF Darko, coming at you live here with Looney tonight, bringing you our semi-finals for Division 9W. Now, before I do get too ahead of myself, I am joined by a very good friend of mine.
Hello, I'm Squidoku. I also known as Jordan here. I am very excited for this set coming up that we have between Fish and Blood Inc. in the semifinals of Division 9W here on Ludi tonight on SplatoonTourney. How are you doing, Dark? What do you think about this matchup?
I'm doing great, thank you for asking. As for how I think about this matchup, I mentioned this last time when I was casting like 3 hours ago. I have a very terrible track record with teams and who's on each team, so I have no idea what to expect, which I think is more exciting for me on my end because I will always get surprised. Obviously, these teams have some to them if they made it to semifinals in Division 9, so I do expect to see some great fun things tonight.
Yeah, we just saw look at the rosters on each of these two teams. On Blood Inc., we have players Zero, Val, X, Aruvimo, and Cedar. On Fish, we've seen them before. There's the roster. Here's your roster. Arctan, Kevin, Jay, Nikki, Ryren, and Nova. I hope I'm not mispronouncing any of those names. Anyway, we have seen Fish here before on this season. Back in week 2, we saw their win over the team Time to Win. They did end up being the top 2 teams in their group here, so both of those teams did move on to the final stage. However, Fish are the team that has made it further. They ended up on opposite sides of the bracket, so they wouldn't have had a chance to encounter each other yet. But over here, we do have Fish and Blood Inc. going up against one another, and we will get them. We will see how it goes right away. What do you think of these comps here? Oh, okay, that's a big swig. What do you think of that?
Big swing is not something you hardly ever see in this level, to be completely honest. It's kind of been outclassed, and even though it can be used as like a niche painting weapon or an even niche Rainmaker popping weapon because it has such insane object damage, it kind of just never gets picked anyways, and it kind of gets outclassed due to like other like more consistent weapons, as we see like the 10 attack, even the spat dualies in the range basket, the pencil being used like all overhaul. But already Blood Inc. 2 down over Fish. I'm sorry, 3 down over Fish is gonna get that Rainmaker to its first checkpoint in 30 seconds, record time already, and they're not done yet. They're moving in with the tactical lore online to get even more momentum in their favor. On top of the triple ink strikes, they're looking to create as much space as they can as they just keep this bloodbath going.
Yeah, Blood Inc. got that huge numbers advantage, and they're, in fact, not only taking the right checkpoint with the initial push, they also are moving it up onto the plat from there. So that gives them a whole lot of points early on, getting it all the way down to the 33 remaining mark through that unpaintable ramp, forcing it up the right side, even closer to where Fish spawn in compared to the left side path.
As things reset back to neutral, Fish now be the ones taking control of the Rainmaker as they use whatever special they can online to try and disperse the members of Blood Inc. But it's not enough as the Kraken goes in and manages to just drive by and take that Rainmaker out of service before forcing the other members to back up and reset back to neutral, as the Rainmaker is now still in its bubble, waiting to see who's going to be picking up next. Fisher's just carefully poking it down. They do manage to get one pick on the left side against the shot, and the duelist is down as well. They're going to be rushing it for that first checkpoint on the other side, and they break through!
Yeah, really interesting to see both teams going for the quick right side checkpoint over here. It's a lot easier to defend compared to the one on the left. You don't have to go through as much of a choke point to get there, but it is easier to defend when you have the players who are up. But now we see Blood Inc. getting that Rainmaker reset, preventing Fish from putting together a continued push. But now this time they are bringing the Rainmaker towards the left side. They don't have a path painted up ahead of it, and in fact they are going to lose the Rainmaker here. It looks like a flank from that 10 attack splatter shot on the side of Blood Inc., able to stop the Rainmaker from moving further along that far side path.
a bit of a momentum stall from Fish in order to allow Blood Inc. the time to recover and probably get the special online. But no, there's a breakaway, and they go in, and they're going, and they're going, and with the wipeout, they just like that, they take this game away!
Wow, that was kind of unbelievable out here. It looked like Blood Inc. were consistently able to keep an advantage, but as soon as one push went the wrong way, as soon as one engagement went wrong, Fish were able to jump on it immediately. They got Blood Inc. out of position and were able to get the paint down ahead of the Rainmaker, and nothing was stopping them before they managed to get it all the way to the goal and just knock out that game so suddenly.
Wow. Fish took the opportunity and they ran with it. Blood Inc. A bit too focused on going on a back to front scenario against Fish. And managed to just let the front lines be completely uncontested as the Rainmaker is just able to go as far as it did, going a wipeout just like that. It's such an unfortunate thing to happen, but now Fish first game in their bag. We're moving on to game number 2, Mahi Resort Splat Zones.
Yeah, it's situations like that that really make me wish the spectator tools in this game allowed you to get replays from different angles, because that would have been something really interesting to see how that went wrong for Blood Inc. How they tried to stop the Rainmaker there, but they must have miscalculated what they were doing in terms of the number of players to send for a flank or where to put their defenders, because they didn't have anyone alive in a position to defend there anymore once they were 3 down and it was only the range blaster left up. And even then, that blaster went down and wasn't able to stop the Rainmaker from getting to the goal.
It was an unfortunate series of events of just mismanaged target prioritization. They ended up targeting the backline, which isn't what exactly you want to be targeting at that point, and it's just leaving your front line completely open. Just allow them just run straight forward and take away the game right then and there. And it's an unfortunate thing, but it happens sometimes, especially being on stream. Pressure does get to you way easier than you normally would think, and so it's not that big of a deal, especially this early in the set. We're in a best of 9. You have so many chances to try and properly resetting yourself. And as we're heading into the game number 2, I want to see exactly what Blood Inc. is going to do to try and make sure something like that never happens again. Make sure they have all their bases properly covered so there's just no sneaky getaways behind their backs.
Yeah, and with this game 2 here, which is going to Splat Zones on Mahi Resort, this is definitely not like Rainmaker in that the timer, the points tick down at a fixed rate when the Splat Zone is captured. And so they won't have to worry necessarily about one wipeout being as disastrous as that. And since they did have relatively good control and relatively good of an advantage for more of this game than more of the first game than Fish had, I think Blood Moon will possibly have some confidence still going into the second game that they can use that to their advantage and reliably get the advantage that they need to get in order to score more points than Fish.
Mm-hmm. And as well, since we're on Mahi zones, something I kind of tell myself about this map specifically is the fact that the map really doesn't actually open itself up until the water drops. Pre-water drop, the map is very tight, very cramped, and you really don't have the mobility nor the range or the ground coverage to actually do much. So I think a lot of these players are just probably going to try and wait out that initial first map phase out and let it run through before finally committing to one player or the other. As we see new weapons coming out from these teams, an Undercover and a Dynamo and Gluga, something I didn't think I'd see on Splat Zones at all.
Yeah, this is really fascinating. You see so many teams in the lower divisions in Ludi not sticking to the compositions that are considered meta, and a lot of the time you'll see players able to individually flex their skill on a particular weapon that isn't necessarily considered to be one of the better weapons, because it's good enough for them at this level to be able to win the game against the team that they're facing. And so with the players going down on the side of Blood Inc., Fish are in fact able to win those first engagements, but until then, two go down as soon as the water drops, and now Blood Inc. take the zone.
And with that integral map shift already in place, Blood Inc. is already in the position to try and keep Fish out as long as they can. Triple Ink Tracks out. People are using their specials left and right on top of the killer well. It's utter madness as the super chumps come out and create even more chaos, but Fish hold strong. Not only do they get the zones back, but they're now looking to try and hunt down any remaining members of Blood Inc. to keep them as further back as they can, as they get, unfortunately, one pick and in turn another trade. Tactical is online. There's no ink on the Dino Roller, so its pressure is being diminished at this point, but Fish has control over the zone, and they're looking to see exactly who's going to be next to fall on Blood Inc.
Yeah, Blood Inc. They're going to want to do there's a lot they'll want to do to take the zone here, as the points are ticking down for Fish. But in this game, Fish have been reliably able to keep that numbers advantage using, even with the weapon pick like the undercover umbrella. It's certainly working for them here, as they're getting down to just a few points remaining, and the specials that Blood Inc. are barely able to neutralize the zone, and they can't capitalize on that to capture it themselves, which means Fish take game 2.
That game was a whole lot cleaner and a whole lot more faster than the last game. Fish knew exactly what they wanted, and then they came in and they just took it without any hesitation over Blood Inc., who was kind of struggling to keep up with Fish. There was a few good moments in there where Blood Inc. were in the advantage, and they were able to actually fight Fish off, especially here now with 2 down over for Fish, but they just couldn't hold it long enough. Fish was just able to recover faster than Blood Inc. was prepared for, and before you knew it, just like that, zone was flipped, the remaining members of Blood Inc. were out, and the rest had to jump out for safety in order not to get even more advantage for Fish.
Yeah, absolutely. And with that, Fish were able to just win game 2. You gotta wonder if Blood Inc. might be starting to sweat here, seeing that despite having had a relatively strong first game, they ended up losing it, and then game 2 was certainly much more decisively in favor of Fish. So they'll want to turn it around here in game 3 on ship shape tower control, and this is once again another map mode where you can't get through with a fast break. The points will be scored only at a specific rate. Only as fast as the tower is able to move. And so that means that Blood Inc. will be able to set up plays if they have the patience to do so. They'll be able to set up plays and use their specials, get in position, and use them at specific times when they know the tower is going to be in a particular spot.
Mm-hmm. This map mode specifically is very volatile. The first checkpoint really is too close to mid and to neutral that it typically gets taken away from whoever's the first pushing team within like the first minute, even less than the first minute. The main point of contention is the area between the second and the third checkpoint, because once you start approaching that third checkpoint, it's very hard to get the people off that tower. It's such a slippery slope from that point onward that you gotta be mindful and make sure that you keep control over that second checkpoint as long as you can, or else the game's just gonna slip away from you, and before you know it, they're gonna be at third checkpoint, and since they're so close to that platform to defend that third checkpoint, they have all the cards in the hand to actually come to you and push you out, so they have free clearance to that third checkpoint to the game end.
Yeah. So one thing though, This is ship shape, right? I think there's only the 2 checkpoints. There's just the first and second. So is that what you were referring to here?
You know,
This is ship shape, right?
Doing this as long as you have, you forget how many
Okay.
checkpoints
Yeah,
are in each
yeah.
map. I could have sworn this is a 3 checkpoint map. Yeah, no.
No, it's just the 2.
Revert,
It feels like, yeah, it feels like, one, there should be a 3rd checkpoint. It feels like there should be another checkpoint between the first and second because of just how quickly it goes down to so few points remaining once you're able to get past that checkpoint if you're able to get it. And 2, the first checkpoint is just so long. It's got the larger icon on the top bar. It's so long. It's twice as long as the other checkpoint here. But 3 going down on the side of Blood Inc. means that Fish are able to get that tower to the first checkpoint. The bubble on it breaking relatively early because they used it relatively early, setting it up, allowing them to get there. But that trade on the tower is not enough to stop the momentum at the tower or send it backwards. And Fish on their very first push are able to get the tower all the way through that first checkpoint.
One thing I gotta give credit for is that that roller. It's not a roller you see played much at all, but it's putting in the work. Bloody can't push past that roller, and it's keeping good pain control. It's keeping good pressure and just being able to harass any frontliners. And already, Fisher at that 3rd checkpoint, past that 3rd checkpoint, Bloody finally able to flesh out enough members of Fisher that they have no choice but to retreat and regroup. As now Bloody has control over the tower right now. They're looking to see exactly who's going to be up next onto their target list, going and using any specials they can to create even as much space as they can. Trade out going for each side. Finishers are respecting the push and just laying back, letting them come to them. But that might be the mistake as they get 3 down. Blood Inc. already marching to that first checkpoint, which I can only assume at this point is going to be an easy clear.
Yeah, and take a look at that team comp that Blood Inc. are bringing. They have the Vanilla Dapple Dualies as the provider of their Tacticoolers, which, if you'll notice, Fish, they're going a cooler-less composition, but Blood Inc., they do have that Tacticooler, which can be such a key component of any team strategy, just trying to use it to make the pushes less risky when you need to make them. But with what they've got, Blood Inc. managed to win a couple of fights and get the tower all the way to the mid-30s so far. But now Fish are all back up and putting up a fight of their own. However, that might have been a bomb or a blast from the blaster that took out 2 players on the side of Fish. Kevin's still up here with that blaster, getting a pick though, and doing so much work to prevent the tower from moving further. 1 player left alive. It's the custom range blaster on the side of Blood Inc. using that Kraken to stay alive and just get away rather than going for picks here. But the other players on Blood Inc. are able to show the same kind of fight winning potential that they were showing in game 1, and this could give them more chances to move the tower further than they had gotten it before.
This game is a much closer story than it was the first 2. Fish are actually struggling to keep up with Blood Inc. right now, as their aggression is keeping them constantly on the back pedal. And as I say that, they are now returning back to a neutral state as two team members of each team are constantly getting traded back and forth. Blood Inc. using every single tool that they can to their advantage, making sure Fisher cannot properly regroup. They cannot properly recenter as things are constantly being pushed back further. And once again, the Ox shot goes out. Another trade goes in. The Kraken's going into create as much space as they can, but Fisher just can't keep up. Blood Inc. is already contesting that final checkpoint, and they do manage to unfortunately get stopped by Fish. Blood Inc. just doing what they can to just try and stay alive for a little bit longer, but no, that push is finally gone as things are resetting back to mid. Fish now going to be the ones in the main control here.
Yeah, and with those Dapples going down twice without being able to get out that Tacticooler, they had it charged up to 86% before going down once and then getting taken out again. That's a long time for Blood Inc. to not have that Tacticooler, and being such a crucial special, especially getting rid of something that potentially more aggressive to make room for it, especially when you're using a weapon like Dapples that is not necessarily able to paint for itself or even have an aggressive sub with the squid beacons that it has. not having the Tacticooler is crucial. But now they do have it, and using that cooler on the tower could be the key here with the special coming out, that Kraken coming out from the side of Blood Inc., and they have the Tri-Strikes as well ready to go. They get a pick here, and now they'll be looking to keep the tower moving. The Swig coming in from the side, but not able to survive. Two going down on the side of Fish. This might go into overtime here. One last chance for Blood Inc. to make this push and potentially take this.
It's a fight for tower as both teams do what they can to try and stay alive for a little bit longer. But in an overtime victory, Fish just barely manages to scrape by, taking the set to 3-0.
Yeah, that was, I think, a really good move. Having that Kraken, especially, I've been talking about the specials from Blood Inc., but Fish showing even more how valuable a single special can be with that Kraken at the very end of the game, just surviving, keeping that Kraken available, and being able to just dive the tower despite the Tri-Strikes going down, having that invincibility to be able to take the tower, and if the players on the other team go down or for some reason get off of the tower, then that would allow just a Kraken on the tower to be able to stop the game right there. And that's what Fish were able to do here in Game 3.
Now, this is where things starting to get a little bit tricky. Fish is currently up with 3-0 over Blood Inc. The morale and momentum for each side is starting to either strengthen or waver, as now Blood Inc. only have 2 guaranteed games if they want to stay alive here in this division for just a little bit longer. Now we're going to be moving on to Barnacle and Dime Clam Blitz, a tried and true for this map specifically. We every time I've seen this map, it's always on Clam Blitz, and I gotta say, I think this is going to be the real test right now to see exactly what these teams are made of. You have a lot of area and a lot of ground to cover, and the coordination is going to be very much the key to victory here. You know, on top of it, other than just being Clam Blitz, Fish has just an extraordinary aggressive line and extraordinary just special usage that they just create space so quickly that Blood Inc. just have been struggling to keep up. So this is the time for you to just really plant yourself down and just try and swing the momentum back into your favor.
Yeah, and especially in that third game on tower control, Fish showed that they're able to stop the pushes from Blood Inc. when the pushes get serious. And even though, especially on that last game, Blood Inc. showed that they were able to make their way into the side of Fish and get in their territory, that should be a sign that they'll be able to score points here on Clam Blitz. However, Fish have also done even further with that, been able to push into the side of Blood Inc. And so with that, I think Fish will be very much feeling confident here and feeling like they can absolutely take this.
Mm-hmm. And one thing you did point out from the last game is the fact that one team, I was really intrigued by the Dapple's cooler pick, because Dapple's isn't really the weapon you pick for cooler. If you want to play the Dapples, you typically play the other Dapple, the Dapple kit. If you want a cooler weapon, you want something like an NZAP or something like the pencil. And that was a very interesting pick that I didn't think. And you see right now, we do see the other Dapples come out being replaced, but now we don't see a cooler pick. Actually, I forget. Does that roller have a cooler? I don't remember. No, it doesn't.
No, it's just the Dynamo that's a roller cooler, a cooler roller that is. But Arctan sticking with that Big Swig Express, and Fish are showing that they don't need to use the cooler. They don't need to play the meta. They are confident with that comp that they're running, using the Swig to its fullest and getting a wipeout here as they are getting those clams together and already scoring with a whole bunch more clams, getting it down past the 50-point mark, barely 30-40 seconds into this game.
And this is what I was talking about. Fish has such an incredibly well aggression line that they can just move in and just collapse on any members of Blood Inc. and just go from there. And it's just such a hard thing to fight against that. You would be surprised that if you heard like the events that's been happening in this game so far, you would assume that to be running a tactical with how aggressive they are, but no. In fact, it's Blood Inc. who has the tactical, and they're the ones struggling to keep up. Which I really admire about Fisher is that they're showing that you don't actually need to constantly rely on tactical to do these aggressive plays. And already they're still showing that they're still going. Fisher is not letting Blood Inc. step foot into mid, and it's just this constant fight for power and pressure that Blood Inc. just can't keep up with.
Yeah, and another important factor about Tacticooler is that you don't start the game with that Tacticooler buff, and it'll take a moment to get that first cooler charge. But with Fish able to so decisively win that initial fight, they were able to get the wipeout onto Blood Inc. and score so many points right from the start that even if they had multiple coolers, that would have had worked out for Blood Inc. because Fish just put themselves at such a huge advantage right from the beginning.
Now we're sitting at 2 minutes 45 seconds remaining. We did see the brush go in to get one power climb in, but it didn't really do much as no one was able to follow it up. And now Blood Inc. are slowly encroaching on Fish, pushing them back slowly but surely, using the specials, whatever specials they can. Tacticooler in progress right now as they used to try and leverage that to their aggressiveness as best as they can. Another pick goes out, not in terms without a trade, as Fish is now holding their ground strong, not allowing Blood Inc. to just push back them without any sort of with all the resistance that they can. Tacticooler online once again as 2 unfortunately goes down to a single bomb.
Oh yeah, this could give Fish another chance to push in. They are moving in further. They are getting those specials. And they are holding on to mid. Both teams have 2 power claims in their possession. For Blood Inc., they'll need a lot more than that in order to score the points. They now have 3 claims that they're holding onto, but still, even scoring all 3 of those claims would not give them the lead just yet. But more specials coming out from Fish, those strikes, creating a smoke screen. Arctan going in, trying to score that claim, not getting it, but one of the other players on Fish able to do that. Jay has enough claims here to end the game, but isn't able to do it before getting taken out. Blood Inc. are still alive here. There's 8 points left for Fish, but Blood Inc., they are going to need to make something even more happen here if they want to have a chance to come back.
Needing it to kicking it to overdrive. Blood Inc. is using every tool in their arsenal right now to create the space, to create the aggression they need to actually get a few more points into their name. But it's not without any losses as they're 1 player down. They can't get any more power clams into the basket as they just suffered a wipe out. Fish quickly moving into mid, quickly getting as many clams as they can to try and contest any members of Blood Inc. who wants to try and stop that from happening, prevent any sort of madness from happening in the last minute as 2 more goes down for Blood Inc. This is a very dangerous situation right now. As Fish is keeping the pressure going. Killer Whale on the use. Rain in progress. Triple ink strikes in progress. And with the power clad being dunked in, that's gonna be game number 4 for Fish.
Fish take a knockout with not even bothering to wait out the last 30 seconds of the game, just getting that knockout, letting it end decisively. No chance for a comeback, no chance for overtime. Fish here, they knew what was working for them. They were putting down so much paint in the base, using the specials that give burst paint, like that splashdown, the triple splashdown, and those tri-strikes to not only just paint, but also just to hold back the players on Blood Inc. so that they could just run in and score as they needed. It was good for Blood Inc. that they were able to get 1 push into scoring territory, but it wasn't enough. They would have needed a whole lot more than that if they were going to take it here. Here we see a replay of one of those pushes from Jay, just using that brush to get in there and to score a clam and get out without going down. We saw all sorts of aggression here coming out from Fish, and they played it very well here, able to just keep it up, keep the advantage for so much of that game, and just end it with a knockout.
Now, odds are stacked against Blood Inc. You're sitting at 0-4 right now. In semifinals, you do not want to go home at this point. And as a reminder, we're here at Ludi. Once you lose a set and in bracket, you are done for the season. There is no redemption. There is no losers bracket. There's nothing like that. Well, I think at this point there is a bronze match, which
there is no bronze medal. There's no third place match in Ludi.
Ah, see, that's where my time in CCA comes in to cross the wires a bit for me. That is on me. But anyways, my point still stands. This is your last opportunity to try and aim for that grand finals victory. These two teams, I know they want this. And so Blood Inc., they have a mountain to overcome if they want to be the ones to even potentially claim their grand finals victory as we head into Rainmaker Manta Maria.
Yeah, Fish could afford to let off the gas here a little bit, but I don't think they're going to. They won't want to. They don't want to make this last any longer than it has to, and they will be very confident here going into another Rainmaker game, this time on Manta Maria. There is a lot that they can do to win this. I do think we're probably going to see more of what they've brought before. I think that they might switch off the custom X-Blow. They might keep it. They might switch off the Big Swig. I kind of don't expect them to, though, and I think they'll just stick with the weapons that they're comfortable with. It's a composition that has been working really well for them here, and it's something that Blood Inc. just have not found an answer for.
Mm-hmm. And I think at this point, Blood Inc. has to be asking themselves how much value is your tactical cooler really getting? Because you see, Fish isn't really running a tactical cooler, so they don't have that crutch of needing the quick and respawn times and the quick movement and any on all the buffs that tactical cooler is giving. And Blood Inc. they're struggling to actually keep that tactical cooler in progress in order to at least contest Fish. So you gotta ask yourself, like, do you want to potentially swap out tactical cooler for a different weapon or a different special and potentially use that to your advantage? And no, it seems that Blood Inc. are sticking to their guns and keeping the tactic cooler. But we do see the Jet Sculpture head on over from Fish.
Yeah, that's a pretty interesting pick, Kevin, here on that vanilla Jet Sculpture. Both teams running an Ink Vac here, with also the Ballpoint Nouveau, it looks like, from the side of Blood Inc. But I do genuinely like the Dapples pick, the vanilla Dapples, because it also provides the beacons, which are very, very useful, especially on Manta Maria. This is one of the maps where beacons tend to be particularly valuable and particularly effective. And with Blood Inc. getting a couple picks onto Fish, or at least getting the one, they are able to put up a fight in mid. However, Blood Inc. Fish do still get that first pick, and Fish get the first pick up of the Rainmaker, and they get a few points, not enough to get to the first checkpoint yet.
First push by Fish, nothing too meaningful. 79 points is decent, but what you really want to try and go for is that first checkpoint and try and push it past that first checkpoint. And Fish are doing everything they can to at least dunk it, but they can't. Blood Inc. standing their ground and just clean up any remaining members of Fish already looking to run forward and see exactly how much more space can they clear out before they begin to reset. And Blood Inc. unfortunately does get one pick away from on their team as Fish returning back to mid, trying to see exactly who's going to be coming up to contest them in any way, shape, or form, what tools they're going to use, and they're going to opt for the right path, something that people hardly do, and you're going to see exactly why, because it's very easily defendable as we see an Ink Strike and a wipeout from Fish.
Yeah, if you're going to go over that jump and try for that right side checkpoint, you need to be really confident that they don't have a defense, because it's easy to get that checkpoint if it's not being defended, but it is easy to defend, and Fish and Blood Inc. were able to do that. Fish were able to do that, defend that checkpoint from Blood Inc. So Fish here, they do have that. They do have the more turf around the Rainmaker here, but now with that reset, it's going to be a relatively neutral game. However, there are some specials ready. They do have that Ink Vac ready to go from Kevin here. It looks like they're waiting, just trying to hold back, trying to see maybe paint around that bunker, see if there's anyone hiding there, ready to drop down. But with those 2 picks, they are ready to pick up the Rainmaker, and there goes the Ink Vac. They are going to try to use this as a chance to get the Rainmaker to that checkpoint, but the Tri-Strikes coming out from X from Blood Inc. looking to delay it a little longer, but that being said, Fish are still able to get the Rainmaker onto that checkpoint.
Beautiful strikes by Blood Inc. in order to try and stall it out for as long as they can, but it just wasn't quite enough as Fish were able to get first checkpoint. Now, Blood Inc. are looking to see if they can get their own checkpoint in return, as they're already running up to see exactly what's going to be up next they have to face, and making a run for it. They get the dunk, and they barely miss it. They make a run for the dunk, and they don't get it. 1 point away, 1 frame away from actually dunking it down. Fish holding it strong, and now they have control over the Rainmaker, and they're looking to clean up any remaining members of Blood Inc.
Yeah, there's that Stamper going for a pick, still in there, trying to prevent Fish from holding the Rainmaker any longer. But now that they do have that checkpoint taken out, Fish and Blood Inc. don't, this could be dangerous territory for Blood Inc. here. If there's a push from Fish that is able to get the Rainmaker well into their territory, then that could be a lot of points here. But they are able to prevent that from happening. Blood Inc. are still behind here on points, and they'll need to get more than just the checkpoint. They haven't gotten it yet, even though they are only 1 point behind. That 1 point is the difference between getting that checkpoint and not getting it, and that is a very big difference here, because if Blood Inc. are able to get that fast break push, then they'll still need to get a whole second pop, and they don't necessarily have much by way of tools to get that pop done very quickly. They only have like 2 or maybe 3 bombs, but they don't have much else available for rapid Rainmaker damage, and it'll have to happen quick here, Dark.
Ooh, this is very dangerous. I don't think there's anything Blood Inc. can do to get this Rainmaker. It has to be a miracle play right now as we head into the final 5 seconds of this game, but with the triple Ink strikes from multiple sources, that's gonna be Fish winning your Division 9W semifinals match. They're going to grand finals.
That they are. Fish, a very commanding 5-0. At some points, it looked like Blood Inc. was doing things well. Like, even in that first game, they got off to a good start, and they were able to prevent them, Fish from getting particularly far in this Rainmaker game as well. But Fish showed that when things went in their favor, they were able to make the most of it with very strong wins in all 3 of the other modes, as well as just doing enough to get victory in both the Rainmaker games here.
Oh, it was such an unfortunate thing too. Blood Inc. were so close to actually getting that checkpoint unlocked for themselves, but it just didn't happen. They were unfortunately splatted before it could actually be checked, and I think that might have been one of the big factor swings for Fish, that how they were able to stall that checkpoint out. For they know that even if they do end up losing a big fight in mid, they still had that checkpoint to at least stall a bit more time, and at that point, all the cards were in Fish's hands. They had the majority of tempo control to play however they like, and it is that kind of thing that just ended up closing this game out. There's such a beautiful display of coordination and special usage by Fish. We're just unfortunately able to just completely neutralize any attempts by Blood Inc. And now Blood Inc. are not going to be moving on, and they are unfortunately knocked out, making Fish going to be heading onto your Division 9W Grand Final match.
Yeah, they will be playing against Dark Striders, who already won the other side matchup. In fact, the team that Dark Striders beat to make it to the finals was Time to Win, which was the second place team from Fish's group. And so this isn't necessarily going to be something we can say either team has much of an advantage here. Both of these teams looking very strong as they go into the finals, but Fish showing that you don't need to play the meta composition to win. You can win with whatever works. You can win with the weapons that you want to play, and if you want to play a Big Swig Roller Express, then go ahead, show them what you can do.
It's exactly that kind of the creativity that I especially love when you head towards the lower divisions. But it's both these teams did extraordinarily well regardless of the outcome. Something I always say, especially at this high level in the tournament, when you head to semifinals/finals, for Blood Inc. and for Fish, that you guys made it this far. So Blood Inc., even though you didn't actually close out this set and didn't make it to finals, you made it to semifinals. So that's something you have to be proud of and something you should just take with stride and victory. And Fish, congratulations for beating out Blood Inc. and could be moving on to finals. And I can't wait to see exactly how you guys do next week. But with that being said and done, that's gonna be it for this set here. But we still have more looty tonight for you guys here in a little bit.
Oh yeah, we do. We have 2 more sets coming up tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern and 9 p.m. Eastern. We will have it looks like I'm not sure that first card is right. It will be Last Squid Standing versus Art Supplies. So and then it looks like it's mixed up a little bit. We have Last Squid Standing versus Art Supplies at 8 p.m. Eastern, and then at 9 p.m. Eastern, it will be Insomniac Central versus Caution, so those will be in the Division 8A semifinals and the Division 5 semifinals, respectively.
And of course, there also is one more match going on at the same time as the Division 5 semifinals. Over on SplatoonTourney, our Division 10A semifinals, we have Crackalakin versus Sea Dragon. So be sure to tune in for those because we still have a lot of looty tonight for you guys here tonight. But that being said and done, that's going to wrap up our block here. A beautiful display of skill and prowess by these two teams. Congratulations once again. But Jordan, where can they find you? How can we find you? Tell us about what you do.
Yeah, so you can find me online. I am on splatsville.social, where I am Squidoku. You can also find me on X at Squidoku_. Here on Twitch, I don't really stream myself, but you'll find me in the chats as Jordan Pie, which is also my Discord handle. How about you, Dark?
Well, you can find me both at Twitter and Twitch and most other social media sites at SPF_dark, where I repost a bunch of random nonsense. I stream from time to time, just all sorts of games, whatever I'm feeling, whenever my schedule is permitting, and I just have an all-around good time. But yes, that's going to be it for the both of us. It's always a pleasure to be here, and I cannot wait to see exactly what these matches are going to be holding for us tonight. So, with that being said and done, we're signing off, and I hope you guys have a good one.
Also remember to play Splat Pass. Okay, bye.